Okay, right. Now, erased, marking this the square root Ceacht, so write the non-luigi here, I guess write the she's minus square root 3. So shin the said and shin. So erased them is quartin angle shin and shin, so the muscle is at theta and shin, and angle shin and shin. I guess erased has to go r cosma square root minus 1 squared plus minus square root 3 squared. Okay, so the r cosma square root here plus 3, so the r cosma da. And then you okay, let's see head part. Yeah, now, funny angle kai to alpha up the market we. So this smooth here the triangle machine. So they got none here, so they got she square root 3 to 90 degrees, so good, in the 90 degrees and shin. I guess it is to alpha steen shot. So shin the opposite, I guess shot that adjacent. So to go to tan. So to tan the alpha cosmla oh hell they're off algebra, so here is going square root 3. So the alpha cosmla tan inverse tan the here is going square root 3 alpha cosmla. Where is it then you be an angle chin? No, right, so question is start the calculator. So to 30 degrees and 60 it will be one or the other. So it is shift tan to the minus 1, the here is going square root 3. I guess you to figure it at 30 degrees. Okay. Now it is because to make to alpha. So or theta, so the theta cosma k darkmo or yeah k sharpmo because the bunch in was 270. So the bunch yeah k sharpmo minus 30 degrees figure yeah k degrees. Okay, well on you okay let's so the alpha or theta cosma yeah k degrees. Now it is to add the set squared to on us. So the set squared cosmla or shin da CIS shin shorthand 240 degrees plus n360. So these become kite screw in general polar form. Well, and then you're right, let's CIS cos plus I sine. So just shorthand CIS screen to net like screw more. Now, so set squared cosmla shin, then you quite to set. So to set cosmla da CIS 240 degrees plus n360 to the power of a half. So quite a whole lot to the power of a half. If I reach it squared. So it is the said cosmla. Now 2 to the power of half sin square root da CIS 240 medi falye sin kate 3 degrees plus n let the 3 shaska is 180 degrees. Okay, we should okay again. So raise tashin shenla n cosma 0. So to said cosma square root da CIS 120 degrees. I guess Darnican n cosma hien to said cosma square root da CIS 3 degrees because it's the sum of 180 loss. Kieran, does that make sense to you know? Culture. What alright kindle la complex in rectangular form at polar form. Or can you get my genuine diagram? I guess kaitun r upper margin r so sin square root a squared plus b squared. I'll go with this guy. Right, so that's we kindle r upper margin. I guess it is kindle an angle upper margin. So the angle is always theta, yeah? So an operation like mat given to go in polar form. So polar form is always r cos theta plus I sin theta. Now because we quite the root, we have to write in general polar form. So general polar form equal to n360 listen angle. That's the only difference. Okay. So raised to this count for r, which is da cos 240 degrees plus n360 plus I sin. So shouldn't I lay you in shorthand? Okay. Is it okay, Gijishan? Now, Gluester should know good to make quite to set the chain. Because the set squared are going to make it set the change. Can the numerator squared? You multiply by half. 2 to the power of half is 1, so set to the power of 1 is set. So raised made the surely to the power of half. The machine cubed, it'll be the power of 1/3. The machine to the power of 5, it'll be the power of 1/5. So you can do? And that way to make for value to set in us. So the set cosmla 2 to the power of half sin square root 2 by cos 120 raised it's 240 by half to the mid. 240 by half sin 120, 360 by half sin 180. And then just for shattered roots. n equals 0, n codrum la hien, agus siúta the root. Now, there's the 3, obviously he gets in the clean chin, so you have to square root da cos, comes to cos 120 degrees plus I sine 120 degrees, and then just cushion the shard the calculator. Agus we did the figure. Agus darna can square root da cos 300 degrees plus I sine 300 degrees. Now, my harm's 180 la shin to my back equal 120. Oh, go with this here. Okay, and then you just solve. Okay, so just cushion the shard the half liter shin with the n. Huh? 3 head, because n equals 1. So it's 120 plus 1 by 180, so 120 plus 180 shin 3 head. So you can do the sum, just because n equals 0 here the way, so that's 0 to shin equal to the factor 120, because n equals 1. 1 by 180 is 180 plus 120 you to 3 head. N equals 2. Now, because you're on the root, you look at the n. With the 3 root of it, it's 3n, carry root, 4n, and so on. Well, on the new key, let's have. Yeah, right, so shin Ceacht over the Ceacht. Okay, Jiglums, Sinead, what out of the going gobber? King Alda, right. Jiglum, what to still add the Sinead. Right, right. Ashley, what's the shin? Jiglum to Nasha. Yeah, right. So, I'm out to Ceacht over the art and shin, right? Now, Ceacht over art is said to the power of 6 is equal to 64. Now, today I'm going to have a Jenny chop because cheeks and Chinese can make a proper screw deal. Okay? Now, said to the power of 6 equals 64. Find all the solutions. Find solution, hard welcome and chin Ashley. Said to the power of 6, we should have 6 roots. So, behog with 6 solutions. Okay? So, that means n 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay? Now, here draw the chemical screw in rectangular form. So rectangle form should in rectangle form can be described in SQG polar form. So raised my hand to the sketch to 64 and chop. So task go to R cosma shaski because you're 64 away from the origin. Shin the set and shin. I can see an angle. What's the angle? 0. 0 degrees. So raised to me the set to the power of 6 cosma 64 CIS 0 degrees plus n360. Erased, you write in general polar form. So it's plus n360. We'll on the new key last time. Yeah? Right. Now, ye shen, if I rate it on she. Can you rate it on she, Ashley? Multiplied by the power of 1 sixth. Begin power ton, you multiply by the power of 1 sixth. So erased, smooth your shot. To set, cosmanash, square bracket, 64 CIS 0 degrees plus n360 to the power of 1 sixth. Now raised smuichi are De Moivre's theorem. De Moivre's theorem, you just multiply 1 sixth by the angle. So raised has said cosmla 64 to the power of 1 sixth. So shin cubic root or 6 to the power square root of 64. So the shin cosmla da. Okay. CIS 0 degrees around to she is still 0 degrees plus n 60 degrees because it is 360 multiplied by 1 sixth is 60 degrees. Okay, now shinny in general polar form, so the said cosmla 6 to the square root of 64 shin da CIS 0 degrees plus n 60 degrees. Now Tashi n equals 0, n equals 1, n equals 2, n equals 3, n equals 4, agus n equals 5. So shin the 6 roots. Kaiti she root 6 n's. Tashi la 0. So you to 2 CIS 0 degrees which the cosmla da. It's just 2 because CIS of 0 is 1. Okay. Okay, Canela. Da CIS 60 degrees to da CIS 120 degrees. You can do Nash Kiran catch 160. Can you meet the Samu? 60 la shahana. Da CIS 180 degrees. Da CIS 240 degrees. Da CIS 300 degrees. Is raised smuichi. Mahom's the 60 la 300. Tama back 360, which is again 0 to 0 degrees. Okay, now erase and then hocklet sin screw in get obruma. Was chanting then you be there, Aoife? All right, okay. Right. 3 hit. That's a funny 3, yeah, I know. My apologies. Was it okay? Yeah, right. And then just cushion Shandy Hacklet. So those 2 cos 60 degrees plus 2 sine 60 degrees. Nearly 5. Like shouldn't he gets in here no problem. Was it okay again? That's cos 60. Yes. So it's just shorthand. It's just a quick way to screw. CIS means cos of 60 degrees plus I sine 60 degrees. So make this a cos or CIS 60. That's cos 60 plus I sine 60. Was it okay again? Right. Got my new Dave. Right. Moet je heen doen die in us. Okay. Now my hind wrong umlan ga genuine exercise shot, so be it, because I'm tired to go to at the end. And then you'll find trigonomic identities talking in a green white, I suppose. Right. Now question E, Z squared or Z to the power of 6 cosmla plus 10 coming as cosmla 0. J hard the genuine then you add that state. E no poking on, exactly. So Z to the power of 6 equals minus 1. Tiny set the group call minus 1 shin and shin. Or cosmla hen, because you're 1 unit away from the origin. I guess the east has said at an angle cosmla 180 degrees. No, yeah. So in polar form, general polar form, to said cosmla CIS 180 degrees plus N360. You'll R be on because the R cosmla hen. Said to the power 6 coming this guy. So to set cosmla CIS. Now, Fedway ratio Shan K Darkmo. So it's 30 degrees plus N 60 degrees. And then you look at the Tashla N equals 0, N equals 1, N equals 2, N equals 3, N equals 4, I guess N equals 5. Okay. Raised screen mark. So it's 0. You to CIS 30 degrees. It's in general form. Kite to go near when your roots up Ruma, kite to go near screw in general form, because one also screech in general form you'll only get one root. Well, 180 is an angle in a 180 degrees. It's always plus N360. In general form, to the go correct plus N360. And that's the only way to make out in the roots leak up Ruma. One horn is the shaft plus N360, you have to equal a root. You have to equal N equals 0 root, you have to add in Hodja up Ruma. Does that make sense? So Kai N, Kai Shavi screech in general form. Okay, so here can I CIS 30 plus 60 is 90. CIS plus 60 you to 150. CIS 210. CIS 270. I guess CIS plus 60 is 330 degrees. Okay. I guess you screech it in polar form. Find all the solutions of the equation and then obviously he gets to know Bruma. Which is okay again. Yes? Right. Now, I'm going to have 3 J living us, right? Because the crime between you and the omega are J in shot. Okay, so it's all different. Just we'll bomb you all of that new clean, yeah. And we'll bomb you deep. Ashley and Kiss you be. Cultist, like that. No, you're not stupid. No, I'm not stupid. It's just put the mistakes on there faster.
So ultimately, if you are putting an equal six,
Aye, to do back a G short east.
so you just like,
Yeah, because Sweet has said the Mugus at Harn diagram to Shin, right? Now your first angle is at 30 degrees, right? Shouldn't they hit the set? That's your first root of a set. Then mean there's a heart in unit circle, all the way heart. So the darn can like 90. To the second root. To the three root egg, 150. Then you can like 210. Then you hit root 270. So shin he's and shin. Then you hit root egg, 330. And then when this is 60 less, you're back at the exact same root it is. There's always a unit circle, so you have to do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's your 6 roots. Which is okay. Now, even though it has said it's minus 1 and we shouldn't have said, but that's the 6 roots of a set. Do you get to? Does that make sense? Because it's said to the power of 6. So you just go from on the roots in a unit circle. Okay, right. I'm ready to kiss the J. I'm okay, log G kiss the J. Well, yeah, right. Right, so mark this kiss the J into the Nash. Right. So you get part B first. Find all the solutions of the equation set 6 equals 1. Okay, now white screen all the solutions. Now, reach Tashi let the diagram to Heen and Shaw so task equal R cosma Heen to an angle cosma 0 degrees. Okay, so reach to set the power 6 cosma CIS 0 degrees plus N360. So to set cosma CIS 0 degrees plus N360 to the power of 1/6. Because the R cosma Heen so you have RT no sheets. 1 to any power is always 1. Now, so to set cosmla CIS 0 degrees plus N60 degrees. Okay, and then it's that N equals 0, N equals 1, N equals 2, N equals 3, N equals 4, because N cosmla quick. At least we have 6 roots, because it's said to the power of 6. So reach for you to CIS 0 degrees, CIS 60 degrees, CIS 120 degrees, CIS 180 degrees, CIS 240, as you can join us, CIS 300 degrees. So standard rates. So you can part really simply. Now raise counting for the character screen mark, so coming to read your chart. So next to CIS 0 degrees in cosmla Heen, it's just 1 plus 0I, so it's 1. The cos CIS of 60 degrees, so these cos 60 you to half, like a sine 60 you to plus square root of 3 over 2I. Taking a cos of 120 so minus like a sine of 120 you to plus square root of 3 over 2I. Now make it to the skåne alla fräcklig kärne, but we can know different either be a plus and a minus different. So here can alla cos the 180, the shin cosma luigi hin, sine the 180 is 0, so the gauge minus 1, like it's a virtue on chin, cos the 240, shin minus Now obviously it'll be minus square root of 3 over 2I. But we not can know and even use as calculator because that can be match up. Every root has to be different. So with the minus August and Chin, it has to be minus square root of 3 over 2I because the plus can already open. Can journey, it'll be so reach saying the 240 lattice minus square root of 3 over 2I. Cost the 3 hit. Shin I guess the reach me equal to 5 minus square root of 3 over 2I. And there's your solutions. Okay, I guess in part of the heat. Well, and you okay part 1. Very straightforward. Okay, right. Make the part of the donut. Part 2. Show that these roots can be written. 1 omega squared, omega cubed, omega 4, and omega 5, where omega is one of the non-real roots. Omega is one of the non-real roots. This is a real root because you have an imaginary part to be omega. This is a non-real root because it has an imaginary part. This is a non-real root. This is a real root. Non-real, non-real. So you can show like that. Okay, because Rudabila I is a non-real root. So Kai Omega vi Kodjumla Kanakushan. Okay, so Ruddy Enimage and Shan. Kormichin Kodjumla Heen. Kor Kan cos 60 Kodjumla Omega. Now, Kanye cos of 120 is the same as CIS 60 degrees squared. 60 degrees squared. So Higgins sin square omega squared. The cos CIS 180 sin right kerne la CIS 60 degrees cubed. So raised to sin cosmo omega cubed. The raised to sin cosmo CIS 60 degrees to the power of 4. Agus to sin cosmo CIS 60 degrees to the power of 5. So it goes to Demir's theorem sin omega 4 agus sin omega 5. So the majority sin species. And that's how we label your Nerodi. Does that make sense to you? So current omega usually go near a Darnicon. The first non-real root is usually omega. Which is okay again. So the first non-real root is going omega, and then we follow on negation. Now, so shin part of the dodge antigen and to get the shin. We just label them 1 omega is omega. Right? Now, here part of let's show that. Right, to make each chest branch, well 1 plus omega squared plus omega cubed plus omega keher plus omega quick cosmos 0. Now, just out on the knees bomb just a second away. Nere homo within the root or leg like yellow. If we add all roots, they will always be equal to 0. Because market as the back of your diagram has my reverse. We have negative roots, we have positive roots. If we add them all, they all cancel each other out. I get you to go 0. So you should differ fade root on, whether the shishiron, the birchon, the kaharon, you should differ. More homotilate like yellow, you'll always get 0. But you okay again, you to go 0. Now, how do we prove that? Now, Malak within Taskin, to make a krug, Mohammed Charlie like yellow, you make 0. So how do we prove it? So write the enemy. Lake dot A, right? So Jeremy, lake dot, so short part 3. So lake dot A if it cosmo 1 plus omega squared plus omega cubed plus omega k plus omega quick. Okay, now while almost the follow Richard on he and so we multiply both sides by omega. Okay, so just multiply both sides by omega. Oh, go with us here. Right, so what we got the n and chart, we got the way to near t for omega. So you to a omega, cosmos omega plus omega squared plus omega cubed plus omega k plus omega quick plus omega shape. Next you wrote the wrong machine. Wait a minute, what for omega. So omega by 1 is omega, omega by omega squared cubed k quick equals shape. Now J tasking for omega 6. Within your back of G sharp, what's the next root? I'll go to cosmos here because we're back to root 1. So test ogni nash, test ogin, so note test going go omega to the power of 6 cosmos here. So that's fine, yeah. Okay, so test ogni nash go omega, he got to just make a video, okay. He got to nash go omega she cosmos here. So test going nash go a omega cosmos omega 1 plus omega squared plus omega cubed plus omega 4 plus omega 5. Because how much is she tries to just tossi? Because omega 6 is 1. Now, J test going for shot. That's the same as right turn la A. So next to me add the right equal A omega cosm la A. Okay, now if we factorize for A trasnet you to A omega minus A cosm 0. Then we factorize A bracket omega minus 1 cosmos 0. So kai A if it cosmos 0. Oh, right. So kai A nash if it cosmos 0. When we factorize A equals 0, omega minus 1 cannot be equal to 0. Because the omega is a non-real root, so therefore can never be equal to 0. So that means kai A if it cosmos 0. Because la 0L kai to made it for 0. Does that make sense? So A has to equal to 0. So therefore, what to A cosmos 1 plus omega squared, then to A cosmos 0. And there's your proof. Okay? So the relation to omega, or 1 plus omega squared, plus omega cubed, plus omega ceacht, plus omega quig. Not the hard on the internet screen more. Go with this. Right, plus omega quig, agus the raised to shin codumla 0. Okay, was you okay, listen? It's horrible casting it to but new practice, you should break practice. Right, okay, head parcella. Yes, you know, my pause is just reminding my recorder to reach Ashleen, yes? Right, the 1 plus omega squared, plus omega cubed, plus omega ceacht, plus omega quig, tasking goal nation go equal to 0. Now, on the routine, right, so on the routine, omega 3, tasking goes in cosmos lucha here from the root, so it's equal to -1. It's a real root because in your imaginary part of omega, so Higgins in the subbalshan is from omega cubed. So you have the 1 plus omega squared -1 plus omega ceacht plus omega quig. Cosmos 0 to hina caluma, so therefore to fact omega plus omega squared plus omega ceacht plus omega quig, cosmos 0, and there's your proof. Okay again, so it's kind of very straightforward. Right, marking to our Keshti Hinjik, Rima Free Hinjik live, and then he live in trial Doyik or Ceacht, Quijik, Ceacht again, alright? Jiggle more free chalk had been then, alright? And at least my Higgin to Sean and be right, so Oka Keshti Hinjik, so just Oka East Rima Free Gasta. Now, it's just said to the power of 5. Okay, now to said to the power of 5, Kodjma Hin. So raised in polar form. Raised shin the Hin and shin. So task good goal said to the power of 5, Kodjma 1, shin r equals 1. I guess the angle is 0 degrees. So raised to CIS 0 degrees plus n 360. So very straightforward. Now raised scream out dot roots. So to n Kodjma 0, n Kodjma Hin, n Kodjma da, n Kodjma 3, n Kodjma ceacht, and there's your 5 roots. Now raised second CIS 0 degrees, which is equal to 1. The Darnicon CIS, go in the scale. So said, Kodjma CIS 0 degrees plus n 72 degrees. Because it reached quick around to 360, 72. Which is okay. So raised Shekinale is 72 degrees, I guess Kurmage omega arshan. Shekinale is CIS 144 degrees, which is Kodjma CIS 72 degrees squared. So Kurmage omega squared arshan. Shekinale CIS 200 and plus 72, 16 degrees. So CIS 72 degrees cubed, which is the Kodjma omega cubed. I guess the Kunjarna CIS plus 72, so you have the 288 degrees, which is the Kodjma CIS 72 degrees to the power of 4, which is the Kodjma omega ceacht. Well, how much? 72 less than erased to make back 0 degrees, which is 360, is 0 degrees. Well, on the new okay, let's make it. Right? So next is it labeled. Now, O short test logum say goal 1 plus omega squared plus omega cubed plus omega ceacht go equal to Kodjma 0. You don't have to prove it, we just take it for fact. Okay? Shouldn't proof. Okay, that's the exact same proof for Hokla 2 such. Was okay. Okay, now it goes such a J Jaime Crew. To make it crew go all omega squared plus omega cubed is real. Okay, so lay crew go omega squared plus omega cubed on the ray devil. Right, so how do we prove that it's real? Now, Hockelinie CIS 72 degrees of Bruma, and you get the decimal place, which is not the best way to prove it. So, the Kindoi Jiglini formula you said La Shaw Crew. And then you be adding to Jiglini split I squared. Right, so Arkmark is omega squared plus omega cubed, right? What do I be glums omega square just screw down your tella. La full Richie, switchy, kinda you must reach the omega squared, talk them called 1 plus or 1 minus from 1. I'm not sure I'm not there. Just to double check that. Shortest Jacob, eh? Oh yes, I so do I run with that, right? So just out need. Right. Test some to go omega squared quadrum, right? Main to back of G shen to quadrum CIS 144 degrees, right? Now the shin quadrum CIS 144 degrees. Now to make get shin screw doi ella. Now mark this or the diagram. Well, can you go over CEST? Well, it's one. Well, with the n quadrant da, so da for sharp da, k carry k. Does that make sense? Plus 0 is 144 degrees, right? Now, core 144 degrees is a cast unit circle. That's your question shot. I guess for the shin angle to 36 degrees to go on 180. So the next time I shall the shin screw more. So smooth your shot next time I the screw more minus cos of 36 degrees is the same as cos of 144. Because the cos negative into quadrant shell. It's the exact same value. So you do minus cos 36 degrees plus I sine 36 degrees. So shin right kernel CIS k carry k. Because the cos negative into region shin shan. Okay? Now, upper ma omega cubed. Now to omega cubed, quadrant CIS 216 degrees. Okay, now erase check a quotient or the unit circle, CAST, agus erase the shahisan shot by 36 degrees. Okay, now to add the shin screen. Now, will cos positive and negative into region shot? Negative, so it's minus cos 36 degrees minus I sine 36 degrees because erase the sine negative into region shot faster. Okay, so next to my Ableton vertical shot and a homula hella. Now, ma homum some vertical shin la hella. Shin plus shin, because shin root quarti, w squared plus w cubed. Ma homum some vertical hella, to ma fall minus 2 cos of 36 degrees, agus obviously tan I sine the caluma. Agus erase so nil I beyond, so therefore tasha on the red ever. And there's your proof. Now, it's just a notebook jacket because we've got the unit circle. Okay. What's no okay again? Let them understand. Now, Amber Rash. Now, Mike to catch over the 3 Jake. Durcha grow is said cubed. Cosma heat. So raise to said cubed. Cosma CIS 0 degrees plus N 360. Okay, so to said cosma CIS 0 degrees plus N 120 degrees. So N equals 0, so use the CIS 0 degrees, which is the cosma heen. N cosma heen, since CIS 120 degrees, which is the cosma omega, I guess N equals 2, CIS 120 degrees squared, which is the cosma omega squared. Now, ocean test will go 1 plus omega squared, cosma 0. Okay, test will go shin cosma 0. Now, to get me get it prove, show that 1 plus omega multiplied by 1 plus omega squared is equal to 1. So similar to la crew. So mahash me then you offer your formula shot. So just out can you lock me then your formula. 1 plus omega equals to omega squared trasig is equal to minus omega squared. First test will go 1 plus omega squared. 1 plus omega squared to omega trasna is equal to minus omega. So we add the shin swap our funny vertical shot. So you to minus omega squared, medifa minus omega, I guess task to make it crew goes a quadrant here. Now, j minus omega squared, medifa minus omega, shin omega cubed, quadrant here, so the heen, quadrant here, I guess shin a jump. Because omega cubed is back to the start of this. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, the next to the rich kernel good net funny cast you quit. Right, so I could cast you quit and shan. Okay? So just fucking machine where Steve and shot I guess you my sheet too. Right? Now, go set in the rich kernel. Just car machine suits. Now, go set in the rich kernel, funny cast you quit jig to the giddy crew go all 3 plus 2 omega medifa 6 plus 4 omega squared quadrumla caharjig. Okay, now, can you count it? Go 1 plus omega squared quadrumla 0. Now, kid wrote the ends and chart to just going to lock out the left hand side. I guess midi maha. Okay, so take the left hand side, midi shinama. So you have 3 for station archig, 3 for 4 omega squared, and 12 omega squared, plus da for station da yeg omega, plus da for care art omega squared. Okay, so we get each other in the squashin cotton caharjig. Well, and then your right as you head part just read them on the brackets. Yeah, now the race to yeah da yeg ogin char, so we factorize. Okay, so to majad the screen as go all archig plus da yeg omega squared plus omega, so shin omega squared plus omega plus art omega squared or shin omega cubed go minus shin cubed. Okay, art omega cubed. Now back to G shot. J test for omega squared plus omega. Go to your formula Sean shot. So if we rearrange the formula, test go note go omega plus omega squared quadrumla, then you be for the heen trasne luigi heen. Quadrumla luigi heen. Okay, so subas in the chat. So you to archig plus da yig for luigi heen plus art j to omega cubed. Sin back to G heen. I guess the rest is in quadrumla caharjig. So you to caharjig, quadrumla caharjig, and there's your proof. Okay. Kinjarna, just over sharjig. X cubed plus y cubed. Quadrumla x plus omega squared or omega y medifa x plus omega squared y. Chocolate trial. Some bombs in us. Medi shinama. I guess to get a match your formula x cubed plus y cubed. So to get a match in formula solution. So try a chart jig for your verbal do let the hall for your moira and then you with the section journal. Okay? Was it okay?